Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your third Perry Mason episode review. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all safe, hope you're being good to each other. Sorry guys, I'm very exhausted / I'm very scared that I might be losing my voice soon because I was recording the Doom Patrol review just recently, and I was already feeling the strain in my voice, and that was towards the latter half of recording that, so it might be time for me to finally take a little bit of a break. Not from the show. I mean, remember, if you're unaware, we record all of our videos during the weekend, so I'm going to rest my voice throughout the whole week. So I'm going to try and do my damn best not to overexert myself, as per usual, just to save my voice a little bit more. But anyways, on to Perry Mason. The mystery keeps on going. I believe this one was a bit of like last week was just so full of twists that this week we kind of had to really scale back a little bit. I'm not to say this was a bad thing. It definitely, we can't afford to get that many twists and turns in that short of a time frame. This episode definitely gave us more to work with the characters and start to get more shades of certain other characters like Emily and EB. For example, starting to see more of how Perry is being more and more attached to this case by the day. And I'm getting to see more and more wheels turning towards this third chapter. But so far, I'm still really enjoying the season. Well, the series. I keep forgetting this is a one-season thing. But with that being said, let's talk about it. Let's go through the budget recap and see what has happened this week. So we begin with the... Frack, I forgot how the episode began. Oh my god, I completely forgot. I had it in my mind for the last 5 minutes before I started filming, and then I literally forgot how we began. I know the TV is on behind me, I'm aware. But however, because of my TV provider, after an hour's passed, it just stops looping. And with that being said, I'm going to mute my TV just in case if it does. I highly doubt it. I'm going to go over time. I'm just saying, just in case, because I think last week I got interrupted because of the TV. So I'm trying to remember, how did we begin this week's episode? Because I believe... Oh yeah, I remember. So we started with kind of it's kind of framed like a versus type thing where we see EB facing off against the district attorney, played by Stephen Root. Where after last week's, I tend to speak yesterday's revelation about, Emily's potentially involved in the whole case. She got arrested during the funeral. So now they're preparing everything for the arraignment. The DA is painting a... for some reason, I don't remember how, they got the letters from Perry, or they got the case somehow. I guess it was related towards the scene where EB and the DA were having that little drink at the end of the last week's episode. I guess that's how he got the letters. So while they were doing that scene, the letters were revealed, and they're using that as the main focal point for their investigation. Kind of pin since she was with this George guy, this George fella, and he was involved with the rest of the kidnappers, it must mean that Emily had at least conspiracy for kidnapping that led to a murder. And while EB is just still being a cocky asshole on camera to the photos, trying to maintain no, it's fine, Emily will get off, she's innocent, we'll prove that in court, so to speak. And then we cut to the prison where we get to see EB. Oh my god, I literally had the name of his assistant in my mind. Oh, that's her name. I think it's Darcy, I believe so. I could be wrong. I'll try and figure out that for next week. The assistant, another, possibly one of his people, and the Dodgers. The Dawsons? The Dodgers? I keep calling them the Dodger, but they haven't, the Dawsons? I'm going to call them... I forgot the Dawsons. I honestly forgot. I forgot. Again, it's another thing if you are unaware of me. And actually, they made a joke in this episode where my thought escaped my mind. So they're all together. They're all talking about pre-trial stuff. They're trying to set this image that, hey, no matter what's going on, the husband and wife are still staying together. They're still being strong together. Meanwhile, the revelations of last week with the whole affair thing hasn't sat well between the two of them. So they're still well, not so they're at each other's throats right now. They get separated, but they have to maintain a positive image during the trial so that, you know, they can keep that going, so they're able to at least get Emily hopefully out on bail, or at least released without bail. And then I believe, I forgot where, Perry shows up somewhere. Because I know he shows up. So he's still on his investigation, but I forgot, where does he start his investigation this week? I completely forgot. I think we go back. Oh yeah, I think we, no, I don't know what came from, the morgue scene or the scene where he talks with Officer Drake. I'm going to go with the Officer Drake one because I like that scene. So obviously because of last week. Oh no, wait, I remember. So Perry, yeah, now I remember exactly how it happened. So we got to the morgue first with Pete. They're reviewing George's body, talking to the mortician again. Apparently they're BFFs by this point. Whatever. So they're trying to like take pictures of the guy, you know, trying to getting any sort of clues, maybe try to figure something out. And then Perry heads over to the police station that we saw last week to get the report from the scene of the crime that Officer Drake found last week as well. He gets that information, however, he does know there's some weird inconsistencies with his report, so he goes to find Officer Drake on the streets. And Drake is like, hey man, I don't want to talk to you, like please don't bother me, like I got nothing to say to you, sorry. And then he manages to get Perry away, get away from Perry. Meanwhile, that weird, the detective that is corrupt, that I thought he was just a criminal, he's actually a detective. He's watching the whole thing, so he's aware that Drake and Perry are now, while they might not be at the moment really working together, he is aware like, oh, they touch content, meaning that there is a potential like, Drake could potentially be, he could ruin the whole, he could ruin everything. Meanwhile, yeah, so, so Perry's trying to figure out how to, he has a lot of options up in the air to see what he can do. I was talking to Pete about it. Then we get to the arrangement part. And it's like, oh my god, this is like, Jesus Christ, the trial of the century here at the moment, because like, it's the new year, it's the first big trial of the year, and everyone's there. But once everyone starts to rile down, they begin the opening statements. Emily decides to make the ballsy move and initially say she's guilty, which puts everyone in a frenzy, which puts everyone in shock. But then once everyone's calmed down again and Evie talks to her, she changes it to not guilty, but at the cost of, you know, saying that she gets her bail set at $25,000, which is not a good win for the EB crew. And then I believe we get the scene where Drake and his wife are off in the farmer's market getting some food. And that detective in question, he shows up to kind of frighten Drake. Hey, listen, you got a kid on the way. You got this beautiful wife. If you do anything stupid, I will kill them. Like there's a definite, like, I am not afraid to hurt your wife and son. Or your child. So if you do anything against me or my team, the corrupt people, like, you're going to get it. So it's obviously a friendly message. Also, I forgot there was a scene where Perry is visiting Sister Alice's during one of her gospel sessions, and he's looking around the place of worship, kind of looking at everything. He then talks to her about the whole thing that occurred yesterday. And also there was a scene. I'm starting to remember the episode because like I remember like all the major events, but like all like the other scenes that kind of connected just exited my mind. But there was a scene before we get later on that did reveal that Perry was the one who gave the information to the police department. So they kind of that's how so it had nothing to do with EB and the DA's like their drinking session. It was just that was all Perry's doing, and EB's assistant's not happy about that. But during lunch with Pete, he discovers that he's been doing some digging into George and his background. He noticed that he did something kind of shady while he worked at a casino, which ironically is mostly something related to the girl he's been dating, not the pilot girl, I guess. And Perry decides to pursue that solo while he asked Pete to go for all of Drake's reports to see, because I think Perry has this intuition that, hey, this isn't entirely a real report. This seems fabricated. Go look for the other guy's report and just compare the two and see if there's like any sort of striking differences. So they split off there. I want to say Sister Alice does pay a visit to Emily, trying to at least for her to get some sort of answer if Emily did do it or not. But Emily's still staying put on, like, staying quiet and whatever. And then we see Perry and his pilot girlfriend or love partner, I don't know. He's asking her to go with him to the casino, but she said, on the condition that every hour you have to kiss me in public. That's basically the only condition he has to do. So they head over to the casino. Perry's on business, but he's kind of putting her on the fabrication. This is an actual public date. So Perry's kind of leading a double thing here. He talks to one of the bartenders about George, but he has no information to him. So he said, okay, let me go set up a meeting with the guy in charge here. He'll probably help you out, get you some information you need. So Perry goes to talk to him, and it doesn't really give Perry much to work with, because George is kind of like the guy, this Al guy, the guy who runs the whole place. Like he makes sure that every guy who's involved in counting his money is legit. It's not going to cause him an issue. So basically, there's no real suspicion right now for George. So Perry goes off to enjoy a little. What's the name of like the one with the fountain kiss scene with his girlfriend or love partner or whatever. And then I think we cut to. I don't know what came first. Oh yeah, there was a scene where Drake is talking to his wife about this baby powder thing, which apparently was a new thing back in the day. But Drake still feels. Oh no! Wait, I'm so lost right now. So Perry goes back to Drake after learning about the reports, and like there's just something wrong with these aren't connecting here. These were written by two different people, but Drake being under the assumption of like he's being threatened by another officer. Like if you do anything that compromises me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your wife and your son, or he's threatening them. Drake has to defend himself and keep him secure by attacking Mason, or at least telling him, hey man, don't look into me, just stay away from me, I want nothing to do with you. Which, then again, it is a smart move. I do have to give Drake that question, because again, he is caring about his wife. It's very difficult to survive in that time period, I'm presuming. So it makes very much sense. Like, obviously his wife is the most important thing to his wife / his future child, so he has to look out for them. Sorry, Perry, for all the punches he gave you. But Perry goes to EP with his information that Drake has some information that could be crucial to the case, but EP is kind of already mad because like nothing's going his way on the case. He's not getting the information he wants. He's not getting anything, he's not getting anything out of anyone. So he's like really like getting stressed out and angry. And I really love that scene where it's like, it's finally starting to get to him. Like he's finally getting fed up with everyone's bullshit. And all he wants to do is he just needs a win. And he gets the letter from like the big boss guy who hired his firm for this case. And they get fired. Supposedly because EB failed to get her out without bail. So that kind of is already like a big blow to EB. So he goes to one of his fellow, I guess lawyer friends, colleague. Sorry, my grammar's horrible. I'm sorry. He goes to talk to him just to get a small loan, trying to keep his business afloat so he can pay his assistant, and I'm pretty sure Perry and Pete. But his offer is rejected by him. But he does let him know that someone's looking into him, and potentially they have some sort of shady past during their early days of being lawyers. So if that was ever to come to light, that could potentially disbar them, and potentially the case is basically nothing at this point because their whole careers could be on the line if certain information was to get out. So it kind of pushes EB away. So basically, everything's up in the air with Emily right now. We get a scene where her husband is talking to his father about the whole case, about the whole everything going on. But to get their minds off it, his father shows him a potential plan to build a whole new town within LA. Not LA, in the greater California area for a town of worship, a town led by God. And he wants his son to be a part of it, kind of get his mind off everything going on. And then I believe we get the scene with Drake that's kind of like seeing him break down because like he didn't want to punch Perry. He's talking to his wife, by the way. He didn't want to hurt Perry, but his wife and his kid were important. But he still feels guilty that he did that to him. But his wife is kind of reassuring him, like, "Hey, look, man. Hey, look, honey. You did your job. Obviously, you have to take care of me and the kid. I don't know this Perry guy. Fuck him. If you want to punch him again, go ahead. But we're all that's important to you. So she's kind of trying to reassure him that, like, hey, what you did is perfectly fine. You know, you're caring about your family, which honestly is a good thing. But Drake has a conscience, and he knows that, like, I'm doing the wrong thing here, and Perry's, you know, trying to do the right thing, and I hurt him. So I believe, yeah. So we get a scene with Pete and Pete and Perry to talk about, like, getting laid off or whatever. So they're kind of like distraught. Like, obviously, again, like, these two, I'm sorry, they just now been catching a break with a payday. Like, the Chubby case, they got $1 off that case. And this was supposed to be their, like, their, at least a decent payday for their involvement in the case. But now that they got fired, well, not fired, like, the firm got fired from the main person who hired them, there is no income coming in for them. So they're basically at wit's end at this point. However, Perry does get some good luck as Drake has a change of heart and goes to talk to him and gives him the dentures he found at the crime scene, which he did not report when he was writing his report to the police. So he gives the dentures to Perry, who is now excited again. Meanwhile, EB's assistant goes to go see Emily, get a check-in on her to sign some paperwork. However, something's really fishy because, like, apparently the court had hired a mandate, some security person, someone to be around her, from a representative of the court at all costs, but she's sitting outside, not in the cell with Emily. So the assistant knows something's up. So she manages to force her way in somehow, and she finds out that Emily was being tortured or coerced for a confession. And I'm like, coercing her for a confession, and I love this moment because, like, again, I'm a very guilty person on, like, loving when, like, the bad guys get caught during the moment. It's like, fuck, we were about to do this thing and it got ruined. It's like, fuck. I can tell in their faces, like, fuck, we got fucked over here. I'm sorry if I'm cursing a lot. I'm sorry. So that happens, and then we come back to Sister Alice in a second, who's talking to her mother about, you know, Sister Alice is trying to find a way to help Emily out, but her mother's, like, not really so keen on doing it because, like, hey, she's a murderer. Like, you know, we're a house of worship. You cannot be supporting murder, as well as someone else, as a woman who committed infidelity against her own husband. You're not doing the Christian thing right now. You need to forget about her. But she's not budging from it. Perry, while super excited, he and Pete head over to the morgue to kind of, like, connect the dots. Like, do the dentures belong to George? Since, remember, last week Perry noticed, and we noticed, like, George was missing some teeth there. Could this be the connection they need? So they head to the morgue, they find the body, they put it in there, and it's a perfect fit. Meaning that George did not commit suicide, he was murdered. So they finally got a real lead on this case. And then we get a scene with, we get Sister Alice performing, I believe, a play or something. I don't know what's going on. But she's noticing, like, she's hearing these voices during her segments. She collapsed with a seizure. And when she's being resuscitated and being brought under control, she says that this wasn't a seizure, this was a communication from God telling her that she's going to be responsible for bringing back Charlie Dawson. So I'm like, wait, what? Resurrection? What is this? This isn't supernatural, this is real life. I think. I don't know. And that's kind of where we end the episode with her in the... I don't know what that is supposed to be. I think this is some sort of form of symbolism that, like, her mind is, like, unique, or I don't know what it means. I don't know. That's where the episode ends. But overall speaking, I really did dig this episode. I really did enjoy it. It was kind of a little bit slower than last week's, but, you know, it's still continuing. Like, we got to see more of the characters, seeing another shade of EB, that he is not always the pompous, not sarcastic, but, like, quippy lawyer that doesn't take much shit from people. And now seeing him, like, really get pushed to his limit was kind of fun to see. Seeing more Pete was funny. Seeing more of Drake, and honestly, I think Drake is so far my favorite character of the show. Like, he's just an honest, good human being who's doing the right thing, and I love that about him. I'm really curious to see, like, what is the whole conspiracy here? Because, like, you got the police department, you got, like, multiple different aspects of this going on. Like, what is going on here? Like, I really need to know what's going on. Like, there's something bigger here that we don't know, and I need to find out. We need to find out. But I'm really enjoying it. Trying to remember if I'm forgetting anything else. I think that's it. But overall, in my opinion, I really enjoyed this episode. Can't wait for next week. I give this 2 thumbs up. And with that being said, I think that's going to do for me tonight because it is hot in my area and I'm sweating. So if you're unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're doing overall on What's in the Tube besides our Perry Mason reviews, we do DC Stargirl episode reviews each and every Friday after a brand new episode on Monday on DC Universe, the streaming service, or on Tuesday nights on the CW, but you can catch it all for free on Wednesdays on thecw.com and on the CW app. So you got no excuse not to watch it. It's literally for free, guys. Come on. Come on over here. Also, we do Doom Patrol Season 2 episode reviews each and every Saturday after a brand new episode on Thursday on HBO Max and DC Universe, both streaming services. But if you only care about Perry Mason, we always do Perry Mason reviews each and every Monday after a brand new episode on Sunday nights on HBO. Just giving you a heads up for the big overall story, like big picture. Big. I was not centered there. I'm sorry. We are celebrating. What's in the Tube is celebrating its 100 episode this coming weekend. Let's go. It has been incredible to do 100 reviews. This is review number 98, I want to say. What number is it? I think this is, yeah, this is review number 98. So we're closing in. This weekend coming up will be our 100th review. I'm so happy. I am so excited. I can't wait. But there's going to be a little bit of a scheduling change because of everything. So after this is posted, the next one we're posting is Stargirl. Then the big 100 episode, we're going to do a whole thing about it. Can't wait. That's going to be this weekend. I think it's this Saturday. It's going to put some of the scheduling on the snafu, but Perry Mason will be unaffected. I'm just letting you know, like, because our 100 episode reviews, I'm announcing this for the very first time. We're going to begin a whole campaign leading into our 100 episode this coming weekend. Will be a full series review on How I Met Your Mother. It's been something I've been building towards since episode 1. I recorded it a couple weeks ago with George. It was, I think, hopefully the best piece of content we ever made. Hopefully it came out well. I have not yet reviewed the footage, and I should really review that footage soon because that episode's going to go live fairly soon. So, but still, I love the conversation in that episode. I loved it so much. I can't wait for you all to see it. It is a love letter to the franchise, to the whole series. That will be coming out this weekend. But if you only care about Perry Mason, don't worry. We'll be back next Monday on Uninterrupted. Stargirl and Doom Patrol will be interrupted. But with that being said, if you're unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of What's on the Tube, specifically our Perry Mason episode reviews, please subscribe to us on YouTube.com. Ring the bell for notifications when we have the next episode review live. Also, like, favorite, share if you want to, but it does help us out in the long run, as well as follow us on social media to be up to date. That's going to do it for me, so I'll see you Masoners next week on the next chapter episode review for Perry Mason. Stay safe, be good to each other, and peace out.